Welcome back to Clark Danielson Gymnasium on the campus of North Central University in downtown Minneapolis. Today, the Minnesota Black Eyes host the Missouri Archangels as we continue our coverage of women's blue chip basketball. Hi everyone, I'm Mike Peden. Lawanza Montgomery will join me in the booth. Minnesota at 1-1 officially. They are technically 2-1, but one of those games was an exhibition against the Chicago Steam and does not factor into the standings. The team has also gone through some restructuring. They had a meeting and some players and coaches who felt it was too much to take on in their schedule decided to move on to other options. There was no animosity. It was a mutual decision. So the team has condensed to about 12 players. You'll see most of them on the floor today. And that includes the likes of Kasheen Alexander, Ashley Ellis-Milan, and Tanisha Scott. All three had notable performances in our first game we covered for you last month against the Kansas Lady Nuggets. Ashley Ellis-Milan leading in scoring with 15 points per game, also averaging 8 boards a game. Kasheen Alexander also averaging double figures. Missouri coming in at 0-4. 0-4, and they've struggled a little bit. Just one double-digit score, Nikki Lawrence. They have a competitive group, and they've come close in many of those occasions, but they're looking to get their first win and perhaps get some exposure. The team formed as participation and interest in the St. Louis area skyrocketed with the St. Louis Surge and has led to a couple of expansion teams, including the Illinois Shooting Stars and now the Missouri Archangels. A lot of storylines coming your way. We'll share them all with you in a few minutes. This is Women's Blue Chip Basketball on TSB Television.
Oh, gracious Master, we come now in the mighty name of Jesus. Lord, first of all, we say thank you. Thank you, Lord, for such a beautiful day. Lord, we thank you for allowing us to come out here today and watch a game of basketball. But Lord, we know that you're a great God. So I ask you, Father, to watch every player, Father. Father, touch them now. Let them play their hardest and their best. Lord, we want to be sure when it's all said and done, Lord, without you we ain't nothing. So bless this game. Bless the players. Bless the rest. Bless the fans. We thank you for this opportunity. In the mighty name of Jesus. And the gym said, Amen.
On the floor for Missouri to start this game will be number 3, Nikki Lawrence, the guard. Number 25, Leanne Robinson at forward. Lawrence from Fontbonne University, Robinson from Oral Roberts. Lametria Jackson from St. Catherine College, number 30 at guard. Number 35, Veronica Smith, she's a forward from Columbia College, and her twin sister, number 45, Victoria Smith at center, also went to Columbia College. Minnesota will start Brianna Sally, number 5. She's a wing who spent 1 year in Minnesota. Also a 1-year Gopher, Tanisha Gilbert, number 10 at forward. Number 11, Tanisha Scott. She went to Minnesota Duluth. She's a guard. Number 21, Ashley Ellis-Milan, a 4-year Minnesota Golden Gopher. She will take the center position. And Kasheen Alexander, the University of Iowa standout, wearing number 32, will take the wing slot.
Okay, we got our microphone issue resolved here. Missouri leads 4-1 over the Black Ice. Lawanza, did you get who scored the last basket for Missouri? Well, here's Ashley Ellis-Milan on the fast break and the first field goal for the Black Ice. And a timeout is called. It's 4-3. That will stop the clock with 5 minutes and 17 seconds. Having some technical issues, but we got those resolved. And with running time, that's going to put a premium on scoring as we got the Unlimited and Next Level team playing, so might have a hard time hearing anything I say for the moment. And well, we're not quite sure who scored the last basket for Missouri, so I've got Victoria Smith down with 2 points, and you didn't catch a number, so we'll have to see how that pans out. So, in any case, it's 4-3, and we resume. And now we are going to stoppage time. The clock was running before, and then it's a semi-pro circuit, so it's not priority per se on the clock, but they were reminded this they do play with professional rules, so the clock does stop, and that should return a usual pace to this game. Scott on the drive, tried the up and under, comes up empty, and it's rebounded by Nikki Lawrence. Lawrence to number 30. I want to say that's Leanne Robinson. No, I see her out there. We are trying to figure out number. That might be Lemetria. I don't see a number 40 on the roster. That might be the case. That's Veronica Smith who will take the balls. She and Victoria Smith are twin sisters from Columbia College. Deflected, and it will stay with Missouri. The Minnesota Black Ice. Okay, they're right. The call is overruled. And Tanisha Gilbert wearing number 10 instead of number 9. Also on the floor, number 33. That's Danielle Ellison, so kind of a number change of sorts on both sides. Minnesota missing that last shot. A very rough start to this first quarter. And a traveling violation is called on Nikki Lawrence. To finish up that point, Minnesota did compete at the Target Center in the second week of the season, part of a Memorial Day doubleheader with the Lynx. They played after the Lynx defeated the New York Liberty. No arrangement like that today, but hopefully one Minnesota team will be able to come out on top. The Minnesota Lynx lost to the Phoenix Mercury today, 80-72. Brianna Sally draws the foul. Sally averaging 6 points per game. Sally spent a year at the University of Minnesota before departing the school to take part in an 11-month Christian leadership program. Her one season came in the 2006-07 campaign. Sally converts. Minnesota 3 of 4 from the line thus far. They take a 5-4 lead. Jackson in trouble. Goes to number 20, Raina Boyd. She loses the ball. Sally, baseline, reverse layup, and the foul. Sally off to a notable start. On this Sunday afternoon. 6 points per game. Sally just 25% field goal shooting. Didn't have many free throws logged either, but she is perfect on the official stats, 5 of 5, and it's an 8-4 margin. Minnesota leads Missouri. Both teams in the Midwest Division. Three on the way, bullseye. And that is Raina Boyd who gets on the board with her first field goal. It's an 8-7 margin. Ellis Milan, short on the floater. The score has not been fixed. There it is, 8-7. Scoreboard operator didn't quite get that last three-pointer, but put it in. A little bit of full court pressure, and coming in is Tempest Wilson, and Missouri will get a bailout timeout call. Brianna Sally with 5 points, a three-point play, and a few free throws to her credit. Missouri's already taken 2 timeouts. We've had a few clock operator issues. That should not be 2:17. There was 2:48 on the clock, and the officials will have to go over it. A little bit of confusion. As I recall, there was 2:58, or roughly that amount of time left on the clock, and 30 seconds must have ticked off while they tried to put in the timeout indicator. That gives the players a chance to catch a breather beforehand. So it was a shot clock issue. The clock was right, the shot clock wasn't. There needed to be 17 seconds on the clock, not 14 originally. Tanisha Gilbert getting the deflection with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in the first quarter and 11 seconds on the shot clock. Boyd, catch, release, way too high, didn't touch rim, so the shot clock doesn't reset. Boyd launches a three, buries it. And it's a 10-8 advantage for the Archangels. And more clock issues. This is getting a little tedious. Raina Boyd coming into this game had just 3 points registered to her name, and now she has 6 in this game, so obviously that figure will bump up a little bit. It was a made basket, so they're going to bring Minnesota back to the inbound line. That was close. And whoever's running the clock might want to quickly look up the manual on how to run that thing. We've had a couple of clock stoppages. Sally couldn't hit the fadeaway. That is Raquel Johnson, as you noted, number 6. And Ashley Ellis-Milan can't hit the long 2. Last touch by Johnson. Minnesota, it's been an erratic schedule throughout, as getting the basket for Missouri is Gwen Ellis, number 41. Minnesota's had 2 games canceled because opponents weren't able to make it here. Another game was canceled because of a death in the family of owner Diedrich Willis, who's taken over as head coach. Scott fires a 3. That's off the rim and will bounce out of bounds. A dead ball rebound to Missouri. Fadeaway, banks it in. That's Veronica Smith with her first field goal. And the Archangels have scored the last 7 points. Wilson, off the screen, kicks out to an open Raquel Johnson. Swish. That's her. Raquel Johnson played her high school ball at Edison, or maybe it played at Edison College. Tempest Wilson anticipated the pass, got in the passing lane, but could not corral the steal. Still Missouri ball with 14 seconds left on the shot clock. Jackson. 6 to go. Boyd feeling it so far. Swish. And Minnesota's going to call a timeout with 13.4 seconds. I'm a bit surprised by that, considering you were already close to an intermission, but you have a lot of timeouts available. So why not use them? Raina Boyd, who totaled just 3 points in the first 2 games of the season, has 8 already, and is offering an effective long-range shot. Raina Boyd, a graduate of Fontbonne University. Five seconds. Scott off the screen, has to get rid of it soon. On the drive, no. First quarter comes to an end. Missouri leads Minnesota 16-10. We'll be back in a couple of minutes, but before we return, we have an interview with Tanisha Scott, who is also the head coach at Minneapolis South. So we'll take you to that interview and be back in a couple of minutes. I'm here with Tanisha Scott, one of the, I guess, eldest members of the Minnesota Black Ice. You've been playing for quite a while, so what led you to join this team?
Well, you know, I played for the Jaguars a couple years back when they had their team, and this was just the owner presented us with the opportunity to play, so we just came on board and wanted to play.
And what is it like kind of getting back on the floor and playing this type of basketball again?
It's always great for us to get back and start playing competitive basketball again. That's really the reason why we want to do it. You know, you get to travel, you have your team now, you know, and I'm coaching too now, so, you know, to still get the opportunity to play is great.
And discuss the coaching aspect. You've been at Minneapolis South now for a couple of years, and now you're coaching one of your younger sisters on that team. What led you to that job, and I guess what kind of situation or what feeling do you get coaching one of your family members?
Yeah, well, I started back coaching a couple years back. I coached with Dana Jobert Hayes at Blake. 1 year I was her assistant, and then, you know, I just stayed in the high school ranks. And it was really Emil Jihad, the coach, you know, that Taylor had at South, which got me into it and told me to come over and check his program out. And then from there, I brought my sister with me, and then, you know, like, I mean, it's great. It's great to actually get to come back and, like, get to coach one of my sisters, because while Taylor was in school, school, I was still in college. So, I didn't get to see her play as much or get an opportunity to coach her or PJ. So it's great to get to coach my little sister, Morgan.
On that note, I guess, what does it mean to be one of the elder Hill sisters, so to speak, with Taylor now in the WNBA? And you seem to set the pace for everybody else.
Yeah, and that's how it is. The first, the oldest is always the person who sets it. So, and I think with every kid, we done set the standard higher, So good luck to our younger siblings, where they're going to have to be. So, it's great to be in a basketball family.
Have you tried to persuade Taylor to get you a WNBA contract?
No. Nope, I'm fine with coaching and playing this.
Then you got one of your compadres, Ashley Ellis-Milan, to join you. So what's the camaraderie between the two of you, and how does that manifest itself when you two don the jerseys together?
Yeah, well, it's great because when you have a point guard and you have a post player that has that connection, on the court, which is perfect for me, like playing with a good post player. All my years up at Duluth, I had Lindsay Deeds and I had Tui, which was up there. So it's great for me to always have a post player that I'm on point with.
And what aspects of coaching have you been able to apply here, and with you continuing to play, what do you take from here that you can bring with you when you take the reins at Minneapolis South again next season?
There's a lot, like knowing how to talk to players. Leadership is a big thing. With me being a point guard, I've always been like a leader on the floor, but actually, being coached again in the summertime now is going to, help me when I go back to my point guard, at South, and, to help them with leadership and how to best understand them and what they're going through on the court and just all the players all around.
And how have you handled head coaching responsibilities, having to guide the team, having to get them through bumps? I know last year was pretty competitive in the Minneapolis City Conference, and just weathering through so many things that you went through at De La Salle, if I'm correct, and then seeing your siblings go through the same path at South, North, wherever they happen to be.
Yeah, it was great. Our team at South is really, really young right now. I had 3 8th graders on my varsity team last year, and our numbers were down a little low last year. So hopefully this year, we pick the numbers back up. We have a couple girls that's been in the program for a couple years now. So, hopefully the experience starts showing, and, they're getting used to me and I'm getting used to them. So should be good this year.
And what kind of opportunity does this league provide for a lot of female ballers who maybe are trying to go pro or trying to continue the game, just having this when getting to the top spot, the Lynx roster, is very difficult?
Yeah, I think this gives, the women an opportunity to play still, competitively, to get to travel, to still have that team camaraderie. And if they want to go overseas, this is a perfect opportunity for those coaches to see them or for them to get game tape. And that's what with a lot of the girls on our team is doing.
And you touched on this a little bit, but you mentioned being the oldest and having to set the example. I guess, how did that emphasize or showcase themes of responsibility to you, knowing that you had a lot of younger siblings who were looking up to you early on, and now you're seeing them begin or take on their own paths in basketball?
Yeah, I think it plays a big role, and it's a role that I've basically always played, like being the type of point guard that I am. I've always taken on that leadership role. So I think here too, a lot of these girls I've played with in the summertime, or stuff. So it was an easy transition for me to come over here, and be a leader. And, they kind of know what I do, and I know what they do. I've watched them play too, so it was a good fit.
And anyone you want to say hi to that might be watching this game?
Tanisha Gilbert, she's right behind the camera. Yeah, that's, no, just to everybody, happy Father's Day. It's Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to my father and, to all the great fathers out there.
Well, thanks for speaking with us, Tanisha, and good luck out there.
Thank you.
Tanisha Scott really embracing the coaching aspect. Minneapolis South posted a winning season this past year with a very young group, as Tanisha mentioned, including her younger sister, Morgan Hill. Suffered a broken leg in AAU play. Hopefully she'll be able to return for the Tigers. Their more famous sister, Taylor Hill, as you know, plays for the WNBA's Washington Mystics, is expecting soon and will become a mother on Father's Day. Three-pointer off the mark from Veronica Smith, and the rebound goes to Minnesota. That's Tempest Wilson. She pulls up from 16 and comes up short. Sally on the O board, nothing there. Banks it in for a second try. Hopefully we got our clock mishaps out of the way and we can enjoy some uninterrupted basketball. Using up the dribble is number 23, Kayla Fisher, and a jump ball is ruled. Archangels have not won a game this season. Would like to change that. Minnesota officially at 1-1. This is their last home game scheduled. They will play the rest of their games on the road. Sally lost the dribble, so had to get rid of it. High-low, Ellison to Ellis Milan. That comes off the mark. And the rebound by 41, Gwen Ellis.
Number 35 on brings the ball up. Hands it off to number 23, Kayla Fisher. She's dribbling out.
Tempest Wilson with a nice defensive play. 8:51. Kasheen Alexander now on the floor. You see Dedrick Willis rotating his players. Ellison for three. She was open but couldn't bank it in. Rebound by Fisher. Boyd out to Veronica Smith. The drill team providing a lot of festivities, but Kayla Fisher provides a triple. Missouri really hitting it from the perimeter. 19-12. Wilson goes inside to Alexander. Alexander, a gritty player, and she gets the roll. Alexander had some great finishes in the game we covered against Kansas. Pulling up the three, bullseye, Nikki Lawrence. Missouri's perimeter attack flourishing. Ellis Milan left alone on the fast break, and she comes up empty. A little too much strength on that layup, and Minnesota is trailing. Whoa. Now it's a 13-point margin as Veronica Smith joins the three-point party, 25-12. 7:36 left in the second quarter.
With 2.5 minutes going by here, Missouri has run out on a 9.
And Minnesota taking a full timeout. Missouri has hit 5 three-pointers. As you hear the loud reverberation from our drill team, they performed a pregame ritual. And if you're Minnesota in this situation, how do you contain this outside attack of Missouri, because they are lighting it up from three-point range?
Perimeter defense is going to be key.
Well, how do you contain the shooters?
Pressure the ball handler. Get in your vision.
Now the score is 25-14. And that's what it should have been. So that Alexander basket wasn't added initially. So it's an 11-point margin. In any case, Missouri hitting 5 trays. That's not going to help the cause for the Black Ice. Ellis Milan tried the touch pass to a cutting Ellison and instead cuts it to a Missouri defender.
Victoria Smith with the steal.
Lawrence kicks out. Missouri, they're going to take threes. Why not?
Take a three. Misses the first rebound.
Robinson got the offensive rebound. In trouble, draws the double team, kicks out of it. Lawrence from the left wing. That's off the rim, no good. Robinson another O-board. Now she'll launch a three-pointer. No. Alexander nearly tripped up on the rebound. That results in a steal. They're going to keep firing.
They're going to continue to fire because they continue to get the offensive rebound. I believe they put up 4 to 5 3-pointers in one possession.
Wilson with the long two. That's off the mark. And Brittany Cook comes up with the rebound. Working her way inside for the post-up is Victoria Smith. And it's 27-14. Now the lead is 13. but not for long. Tempest Wilson on the fast break play. Raina Boyd has 8 points to lead the Archangels. No one else has more than 5, but it's a balanced effort thus far. Cook drawing a bump from number 22. We'll get her name in a moment. 3 is short. Ellison saves it to Alexander. Wilson on the drive. Tempest Wilson. Maybe giving Minnesota a spark, and Missouri's going to call a timeout.
The score is
27-18. And I'm just going to take pauses for the rest of the game because there's no point in me trying to talk over the drill team that's next to me. Their percussion's going to win over my voice anytime. Tempest Wilson with the last pair of baskets coming into the season. Wilson had 8 points per game through the 2 games that were registered in women's blue chip basketball competition. As we mentioned earlier, the game with the Chicago Steam did not count into the overall standings because Chicago plays for another league. .538 left in the second quarter. Missouri has taken 3 timeouts, Minnesota with 2. And more cuts. Victoria Smith. Sally stops. Wilson pump fakes a 3, sets up for mid-range, swish. Wilson has scored the last 6 points for the Black Ice. 29-20. And a trip that allows Ellis Milan to steal the ball away. Scott, Wilson for 3, feeling it! 6-point margin now, 29-23. Wilson, continuing the streak, has scored the last 9 for Minnesota.
Tempest Wilson out of the University of South Dakota is putting on a training field for the Minnesota Black Ice in the second quarter.
And a reach and foul is called, and Alexander ruled a shooting foul, so free throws coming for Brittany Cook. Cook went to Ancilla College. And this is the first trip to the free throw line for Missouri. Cook, 4.3 points per game this season. That was entering this contest, and she gets on the scoreboard here. A few substitutions being made by the Archangels. Cook converts. Not many free throws here, but it's been a jump shooting game for the most part. Missouri also getting inside a few times, so you're not going to draw many fouls that way. Wilson drawing a lot of scoring, though. Her reign continues, 11 points in a row. Wilson, a graduate of South Dakota, played a couple of years there. Right, a couple of meaningful years, I should say. Sally anticipates the pass, pokes it away, finds Wilson again. 13 points for Tempest Wilson.
Wilson is everywhere right now on the court. She's defending, she's rebounding, she's in the ball, she's
Wilson has scored more points in this quarter alone than Minnesota did in the entire 10-minute period. Back in the first, they scored 10 in that quarter. Wilson has 13. Missouri doesn't recognize the shot clock. They do not call it a shot clock violation. Play continues, and the reach and foul on Raina Boyd.
As previously said, Tempest with the skill. She's everywhere on the court. The ball seems to find her hands, and she seems to be finding the net with the ball as well.
And she is rallying Minnesota in single-handed fashion.
Single-handedly, indeed.
As we've said, she has scored the last 13 points, and Minnesota trailed by as much as 13. It's down to a 4-point margin.
Let's go, Mike. Let's go, Mike. Let's go, Mike.
Sally got things going early, and Raquel Johnson draws the foul, and that's going to put Missouri in the penalty with 3:15 left in the first half. We should point out that in women's blue chip basketball, fouls are tabulated by half, even though it's professional rules. So it works like the college system. When you reach 7 fouls, it's 1 and 1. 10 fouls, it's a double bonus. Different than what you see in the pros, where it's 4 fouls and then automatic 2 free throws.
As Raquel Johnson makes the free throw, I like to add that their defensive pressure at the perimeter has gotten a lot better, and they kind of come down with the full court defense since the easy threes and transitions were taking advantage of by the Missouri.
Raquel Johnson makes both free throws. She has 4 points. She scored just 2 points in her first registered game in women's blue chip play. And the three-pointer comes up short, but an offensive rebound. And free throws coming for Brittany Cook, who is 2 of 2 thus far.
Brittany Cook again taking the third and fourth free throws for the Missouri Archangels.
And she'll be thanking the rim after that one. Cook a perfect 4 of 4. Missouri a perfect 4 of 4. Cook's the only one who has shot anything. 33-29, Archangels over Black Ice. Ellison looked at the 3. Thought otherwise. Gilbert. Spin move. And one. Gilbert with her first basket. Gilbert was expected to be the star player for Minnesota many years ago, coming out of Champlin Park. Played on the Gophers roster for a year, then left, and that kind of opened the door for the duo of Lindsay Whalen and Janelle McCarville to take over. But Gilbert still plays, and Gilbert also tried her hand at football, playing for the Minnesota Machine of the Women's Football Alliance. Can't convert the three-point play, though. It's a 2-point margin, and Minnesota could tie or take the lead here after forcing a turnover. Minnesota really picking things up here in the second quarter.
Alongside with the help of Tempest Wilson, of course, and she returns back on the court. Sure, she's going to be giving the Missouri Angels a little bit of trouble.
Alexander weaves to the hole. Finds Sally for 3. That's going to be long, though. Ellis Milan, offensive rebound. Scott for 3. That rims out. Kasheen Alexander on the strong side for the rebound. Ellis Milan. No. And that's last touch by Minnesota. And I'm not against perimeter shooting. Obviously, if you've got a strong jump shooter in your squad, you can do a lot of damage. But if you're just taking those and not trying to work your way inside, it can limit your potential at times. But Minnesota has rallied back. They trailed by 13 early after Missouri was hitting triple after triple. And now we have the makings of a close game. Ellis Milan with the tip, but goes right to Victoria Smith. And that's going to be a reach-in foul. Minnesota had 3 to give. On Lametria Jackson. Well, Lametria Jackson draws the foul. The shot clock should reset.
Random boy set to inbound the ball.
They're not going to reset it. Normally it resets to 14 in that instance. But what do I know?
Nearly picked off.
Now we're going to the other side of the inbound line.
Defense! 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 Defense!
Boyd is blocked. Brianna Sally was ready.
But I'm willing to bet if that shot would have went up, it probably would have been in.
Defense!
Minnesota not taking any chances. 5 seconds on the shot clock. They get it off in time. Lawrence with an NBA three. That's her second tray, and the Archangels go back up by 5. Ellis Milan posts up, and she had a tough angle to work with. Wilson throws it up, and she had plenty of time, and that's just sloppy. Wilson got the rebound. The shot clock had already reset. In that instance, I'd say pass it out. Reset, draw another set play. Because throwing it up usually results in a tough shot, and that's not going to produce much.
Missouri has a chance to act the lead on this possession.
Smith, contact, no foul called, and Veronica Smith ends up losing it, pleading her case with the official, but to no avail. 1:03 left in the second quarter. Alexander has space. Double clutch, no. Gets her own rebound, draws a foul. Kasheen Alexander, the last time we spoke with her was an assistant coach at Concordia University, and that is no longer the case because she has been hired by North Dakota State. So moving up to Division I, she is an assistant coach with that school. Went up there to do some interviews up in Fargo. And is expanding her coaching career. Not sure if she'll look at playing professionally again, but it's great to see her get that promotion. She was on Concordia's staff that qualified to the first Elite Eight in school history this past season, and North Dakota State brings in a lot of Minnesota players, so getting a figure like Kasheen Alexander will give the Bison a lot of insight on Minnesota prep players. Minnesota breeds a lot of talent to Division I schools. Denisha Gilbert deflects the pass. It stays with the Archangels. They'll have 12 to shoot. Mid-range J, got it. Victoria Smith, 8 points. And it's 38-32, Missouri leading. Johnson, stutter steps, can't get the bounce. And Missouri can hold for the final shot. Or will they? No. Tanisha Scott works her way in for the steal. Gilbert has it, fires from the elbow, and that rims out. Raquel Johnson gets the rebound. 7 seconds, Sally for three. Minnesota's shooting touch is off the mark, and that's going to end the first half. Missouri did not recognize the clock. 38-32, our score at halftime. Minnesota trailed by 13, got their way back in it, but their shot will need some refinement if they wish to rally back. And after that performance, we had an encore from our MTS drill team. Made things very loud. It's time to welcome you back to the Clark Danielson Gymnasium, the home of North Central University here in downtown Minneapolis. Mike Beaton here with Lawanza Montgomery, and one of the three-pointers that was awarded to Missouri was changed and ruled a two-pointer, so the halftime score reads 37-32. Unofficially, Victoria Smith and Raina Boy both have 8 points to lead the Archangels. Nikki Lawrence has 6. Veronica Smith with 5. Brittany Cook with 4. Minnesota, Tempest Wilson went on a surge, 13 points. Brianna Sally has 7. Raquel Johnson and Kasheen Alexander both have 4. Ashley Ellis Milan has struggled, just 1 field goal so far. And Minnesota is going to need to correct their shooting if they wish to rally back. So we're going to start the third quarter of play if we can get the clock figured out again. Once more, it's 10 minutes, quarters, stoppage time, international rules. So the pressure will be on the black ice to find a shooting rhythm. Alexander for 3. And a dead ball rebound to Missouri.
A little bit on background on Alex. Kasheen Alexander, her brother and sister both go to my college of St. John University. As Tish Alexander is one of the leading scorers for her senior year. This past season, and they missed a shot.
Kasheen, a decorated player at Iowa. 34 career double-doubles with the school. As a turnover on the Archangels. And second all-time in school history in career rebounds. And we're talking about a 5'9" guard, 5'8". And it will be exciting to see what impact she brings to the Bison. She draws the foul. It's a non-shooting foul. Or are they going to give continuation? That wasn't even close. Ashley Ellis Milan looking to get something going and still not able to find her shot. That same problem plagued Minnesota's top players today. the Lynx, I should say, to the point where they were benched for the fourth quarter. Cheryl Reeve got so frustrated, figured, well, what the heck? Let's see what the backups can do. And they were admirable, but they've got some work to do.
They definitely do. As seeing the bench play the way they did, with aspiring youth star Monica Wright returning back, it was great to watch her play. Wish she would have a little more time.
Yeah, but the starters, they need to wake up. And I spoke with them. They haven't watched film yet to see how they've been giving up so many leads, and hopefully they'll get a chance to, because they've been giving up some uncharacteristic big first halves, and they're not able to come back from them. Sally, one player in a groove, draws the foul and scores. Ten points for Brianna Sally, the one-year Minnesota player. Normally 15, wearing number 5 today. Tanisha Scott with the steal after a heads-up defense by Danielle Ellison. Scott behind the back to Alexander. The no-look pass results in another and one opportunity. And with a free throw, Alexander could tie the game. Actually, it should be tied, because Sally made the free throw. It's 37-37. That's what the score should be. Yes, Sally, she got the three-point play. Minnesota had 32. That should put you at 35.
The score should be knotted up here.
That should be even. So Alexander should be putting this team in front. Well, we're going to stay tied, or so we think. Alexander, though, gets the offensive rebound. Sally for 3. Bullseye.
Sally with 13 points. She's tied her teammate Kendall.
39-37 is what the scoreboard reads. It should be 40-37. It's just one of those days, I guess. That's a shooting foul on number 45, Victoria Smith. So she'll go to the line. Victoria Smith . 8.7 points per game, 7.7 rebounds per game, also averaging 2.6 steals. Not a slouch at all for the Archangels. Splits 1 of 2, and the score reads 39-38. I have not been impressed with the job of the score operator today. I know a lot of volunteers come out here. This isn't a league for glory, but we've had a few miscues here that shouldn't be there, and that can affect the quality of the game. But Tempest Wilson driving in, and Minnesota officially with their largest lead of the game, 41-38. You hope they can get the score corrected, as Victoria Smith draws another foul. This time it's away from, or a non-shooting foul. Three on the way. Smith beats the shot clock and almost got that one to bounce in.
Christine Alexander with the run out, passing Sally, and she has
Gonna
got
say.
her pocket.
I got that covered. You don't have to worry about that. 7:07 left in the third. Sally to Alexander for 3. No. 3-point shooting has not been a strong suit today for the Black Ice. But it has for the Archangels, and allegedly this is tied up. Veronica Smith with the three-pointer. 41-41. Alexander off the screen. Ellis Mylan calling for it. They go high-low, and Ellis Mylan finally gets a field goal to drop. Ellis Mylan went to the University of Minnesota. Scored over 1,000 points there. And that's a foul on Sally. You can't fault the aggressive defense, but you can't make contact with the body. And an injury timeout will be called with 6:28 left. The player who took a hard lick was Veronica Smith, one of the twins from Columbia College. Slowly gets back. Six minutes and 28 seconds left in the third, and Minnesota up by 2. Well, whatever the score may be, the Black Ice have worked their way back, and they've had to work their way out of some deficits before. Another example was the St. Louis Surge. Lawrence. That's a high cross-court pass. Another three-pointer from Victoria Smith. That doesn't go in. Ellis Mylan with the rebound. Scott is fouled, and that may have saved a drive to the basket. Kayla Fisher hit with it. But a lot of fouls in the third quarter. Remember, we go by halves. In any case, 43-41's the score. That was a dangerous pass. Ellis Mylan released too soon. Nikki Lawrence initiates the fast break, and we're tied at 43. Wilson. No. And two old high school teammates collide. They're down. It's a 5-on-3. Minnesota gets the rebound. Missing the shot was Kayla Fisher, and now they can call a timeout. In basketball terms, you cannot stop play until the team with an injured player gets the ball, and it's designed to prevent any kind of faking injuries, but you can tell from up here that is not an injury fake. Ellis Mylan and Ellison were both racing for the rebound and collided with each other. And that was just an aggressive play. Certainly no malicious intent in any circumstance. You hope she's all right. As you see on the screen, the Black Ice huddling around Danielle Ellison. Ellison collapsed to the floor. Ellis Mylan also needed a couple of minutes to get up. And she's walking off. May have tweaked something. Danielle Ellison from St. Cloud State. We mentioned a high school teammate of Ellis Mylan. Both graduated from St. Paul Central. Ellison also an assistant coach for the Como Park girls basketball team under the direction of John Robinson. who is the father of Angel Robinson, a name you might recall. Angel Robinson, a standout for St. Paul Central. So a huge connection. And it's good to see her getting up. That could have been really scary. Brianna Sally switches the mid-range J, and Minnesota retakes the lead. Sally and Wilson with 15 points each. Smith loses the ball. Ellis Milan. Ooh, Tanisha Scott saves it, and that's going to be an uncontested deuce for Brianna Sally. The feed from Tanisha Scott. And the Black Eyes with their largest lead of the game. And Missouri stepped on the line. The defense hounding the Archangels at the moment. Missouri went up by 13. Back in the second, now Minnesota looking to expand their lead. Sally, that was a tough pass. Got caught on the trap, and she's gonna get caught on the foul. Back-to-back mistakes as she gets Nikki Lawrence back up.
Nikki Lawrence looked like she's thinking a couple of balls on the left side of her face.
Well, as it goes, you haven't played until you get a floor burn. Tempest Wilson, no! Got disrupted just slightly and had a very close angle to the basket. Couldn't get the arc she wanted, but she goes to the free throw line after drawing the foul. If you remember Wilson, and no, they're not gonna call it a shooting foul? I'm surprised. Wilson. Well, she can't get the deuce, so she'll get the tray instead. Tempest Wilson with 18. And Minnesota with their largest lead of the game. Wilson with the steal, catching Missouri off guard. Scott is open, wants to join in on the action. Can't, oh, I thought it was gonna bounce in. Missouri looking to get a fast break look themselves, and Lawrence is fouled right away by Tanisha Scott, so she'll have to do it at the free throw line. This will be Lawrence's first trip. Lawrence, the top scorer for the Archangels, 13 points per game entering this contest. And I see Danielle Ellison back on the bench, and that's a good sight to see. Ellis Milan goes out, and I believe in her place is Dontrea Cole. Lawrence makes both free throws. Missouri, a perfect 6 of 6 on the free throw line. Wilson, that rims out. Raquel Johnson with an offensive rebound, but she throws it right to Lawrence, and Missouri can cut into the lead even further, and they will. Rena Boyd turning on the Jets. Wilson, pump fakes, draws the double team, and will shoot free throws. Wilson was quiet in the first quarter. 13 points in the second. Has 5 thus far, hoping to add to it. Minnesota 7 of 10. Officially speaking, there was 1 point should have been added. But what are you going to do? We can make jokes about it. No. No.
Continue to pay close attention to
No, these guys are volunteering. We'd have some lighthearted jokes. Wilson misses both free throws, and Minnesota struggled late in the game against Kansas, and that allowed Missouri to fight back, and they're pushing back now. Brittany Cook with the layup. 50-49. Archangels have scored the last 6. Cole calling for it. And almost loses the ball. 8 to shoot. Sally sees it. Raquel Johnson tips it to Tanisha Scott and a fresh 24. Scott, runner! Oh! More free throws coming. And perhaps more importantly, Missouri out of fouls to give. So Minnesota will shoot free throws for the final 12:46. And Tanisha Scott finally gets her first point. Scott, quite the visionary, running the point guard slot. And Minnesota struggling from free throws again. Scott, I should say, averaging 6.5 points per game, 15 points per game. That number may drop after this. But the Black Guys get a dead ball rebound. Wilson, guarded quickly by Boyd. Sally, finger roll, banks it in. Sally with 19. And Minnesota gets a 3-point play in backwards fashion. Sally's been called for a few fouls, but that hasn't stopped her from sniping passes or trying to. Victoria Smith, high-low to Cook. Yes. Cook with 8. Nobody on Missouri has scored more than 10. Whereas Minnesota, and that's going to be a foul, a push foul on Missouri. So free throws will be coming for Raquel Johnson, not Raquel Welch. Welch is a more notable figure.
As you mentioned, Minnesota Black Ice shooting free throws every foul since Missouri Archangels has ran out of fouls.
Johnson, 4 points thus far. Minnesota struggling as of late. Officially speaking, just one of their last 5 from the free throw line. And that cost them, as we mentioned, in the loss against the Kansas Nuggets. But Johnson gets the front end here. Johnson 2 of 2, now 3 of 3. And more struggles. Minnesota 9 of 16. They do push the lead back up to 3. More stingy defense. Tanisha Scott will go all the way. She gets her first field goal, and the Black Guys go up by 5, 56-51. Cook passed up the 3. Ellis will shoot free throws.
The key for this full-court defense is snappy passes and fast feet.
And since Minnesota went to more of that full court press, Missouri has had a tough time adjusting. Shooting foul, so 2 free throws that Minnesota gave up their last foul to give. Ellis can't convert though. That's the first miss from the free throw line today from the Archangels. Gwen Ellis, 5 points per game, 3.7 rebounds per game entering today. She gets on the board. That makes the score 56-52. Or it should. They're not counting that point either. technically speaking, the score should be 57-52, but since both teams have had a point left off, okay, there we go. Overpass. Raquel Johnson almost lost the dribble, but scores a pair. Missouri's passing is deteriorating rapidly in the third, and Minnesota's lead is back up to 6, their largest. Boyd tried to bounce it. Sally steals it away, and she draws the bump. Intelligent play by Sally. Because she knew drawing the foul would get her free throws, and she was pinned near the baseline. So why not make a move? Your defender's running with you. As long as you don't initiate the contact or throw out an elbow.
Very smart play by Sally.
Well, it gets you to the free throw line where you can pad your lead, and Sally has been brilliant today. 20 points coming into today. She averaged just 6 a game. Well, that's going to change in a hurry. As she makes both free throws, Sally up to 21 points, and Minnesota leads 60-52. They scored just 10 points in the first quarter. Again, part of it was the clock was running when it shouldn't have, but in any case, their offense has really come around since that time. Lawrence from the corner, short. And the rebound goes to Sally. She has numbers. She has an open Tanisha Scott down court. And the finish for the De La Salle graduate. Played her college ball at UMD, Minnesota Duluth. And Missouri calls timeout. 42.2 seconds left. And a few of the drill team members have gone elsewhere, but the drum line is still here. Minnesota, how about this? 10 points in the first quarter, 22 in the second, and even with the point that was taken away, or I should say not added, however you want to categorize it, 30 points this quarter for the Black Ice.
And that starts with their defense, full court pressure. You see they come out at halftime with close out, get to the ball quicker than their opponent, and that will lead to more turnovers, more opportunities with the ball, more opportunities with quality basketball.
That's something Minnesota, the Lynx, I should say, could have used today. But there's still a lot of season left. They're 8-3. They're doing all right, and they'll get Phoenix again on Wednesday. So they'll have a quick shot at revenge. And it's and your conference foes you play 4 or 5 times anyway. So Tanisha Scott with the steal, more full court press, and another deuce. Brianna Sally this time on the layup.
Very impressive.
Missouri can effectively hold for the final shot, but they're not going to get that chance. Another steal. It's Cole to Gilbert. Behind the back, and you was a little too fancy. Oh, Minnesota had a chance to really put the exclamation point, and they got too caught up in the theatrics. You had an open lane. Just go for it. Why are you doing the silly passes? That's my pet peeve. Don't be too fancy. Score the 2. Points are points. Missouri can't do much with it, so even though Minnesota blew off a sure 2 at the end of the third quarter, they do score 32, double their total, 64-52 the final. And before the drum line continues, where you can barely hear me, we're going to throw it to an interview with the Smith twins of Missouri. This is Women's Blue Chip Basketball on TSB Television. I'm here with a pair of twins from the Missouri Archangels team, Veronica and Victoria Smith. So why don't you just tell us, how did you find this team, and how did you sign up?
Well, we all played together on the original St. Louis Surge team our first year, and then when that developed, a few more teams kind of sectioned off and became teams just like the St. Louis, the Illinois Shooting Stars, and then the Missouri Archangels. So we play with each team beside at least in our little career in the 4 years that it's been going on. And so hopefully this is our last stop.
And so what are the goals for you two? You mentioned this kind of hopefully being a last stop. What's the next stop, so to speak, for the two of you?
Oh, well, we already got offers to go overseas, and that wasn't something that we wanted to do. We just like the fun of the game and the competition. So, yeah, we just like playing pretty much. And we're going to play as long as this is here and our bodies enabled us to play.
What would you have to add to that?
After that, I'm just saying, like, I'm really local. Being over there is not really my thing, but I'd rather stay here and finish my career, pretty much.
What fostered your appreciation for the sport? I imagine you two have played with each other for many years. How did you get involved, and what, you mentioned staying home, what led you to continue in the semi-pro circuit?
When we lived in California, when we were younger, to hang out with our brothers, we had to play ball. And if we didn't play, then we couldn't hang out with them. So that kind of pushed us to play so that we can be around them, and they'll take us to the park more. Yeah, and after that, like when we moved here from California to Illinois, we met a woman by the name of Theodora Smith, and she kind of matured us and brought us up to where we was like really interested in playing the game more and more.
And I guess how has the camaraderie between you two developed over the years playing the same sport, and whatever sibling rivalries or issues you might have, you might have to put that aside. How has that fostered a relationship between you two?
Competition, she is my biggest competitor. Like, I feel like if I'm gonna go for the goal, it's to chase after her. If she's scoring 20 points, I want to score 20 points. She getting 10 rebounds, I want to get 10 rebounds. So it's just basically competition on the floor. Like right now, we got a challenge going on. So, yeah, and I'm winning, but she won't get my money. But yeah, like with her, like I'm trying to get her to be more of a scorer. And I have to stay on her more and more, because her mentality is I want to pass first and rather score. So I just stay on her more and more to make her do better and play better.
And so what kind of opportunities does this league present, and what are you two looking to get out of it?
Well, I just like the sport or whatever. And if my teammates are looking to go overseas, then I want to do my best to help them and make them better and play better around us so that they can get that look and that opportunity to go overseas if that's what they choose. Yeah, that's correct. We just trying to help them out, get them more looks, because I'm done. I'm done looking to go further than this.
And finally, anyone you want to say hi to that may be watching this game?
Hey, Ma. Right. Hey, Ma. Happy Father's Day to everybody.
Well, thank you for speaking with us, and good luck, and hopefully you can continue representing the city and state surrounding Missouri.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, after that interview, we did some more number crunching. Officially, Minnesota outscored Missouri 32-15 in the third quarter, and they now have a 12-point lead. Remember, the Black Eyes trailed by as much as 13 back in the second and have rallied since then. The full court press working wonders. Ellis Milan with the block. 5's to shoot. Missouri sees it. 3 from long. No, but it caroms right to 45, Victoria Smith, and she gets the second chance putback. Ellis Milan, out to Alexander, out to Gilbert. And Victoria Smith read that pass, was right on Ellis Milan's shoulder. Easy read for the steal. Lawrence, fade away, good. And back-to-back baskets here for the Archangels. We're not quite done yet.
They got it now to single digits.
And could trim it even further. And you and I were discussing off broadcast during the interview that missed two-pointer that Minnesota probably should have had. There's Ellison working away for the steal, getting the tip, and Alexander corrals it. Scott the eldest of the Hill sisters. Ellis Milan posts up by Victoria Smith, hands in the face. And Ellis Milan up to 6 points. Bullseye, Veronica Smith. 7-point margin. We might be here for a photo finish. Ellis Milan. Another drive comes up short. Jump ball. Possession arrow favors Missouri. Except I forgot this is international rules, so. And making the drive is Lametria Jackson for her first deuce. And Brianna Sally, we saw, packed up her bags and had to run. I'm guessing she had another engagement to attend. So Minnesota will not have her services for the fourth quarter, and that's a considerable loss. Of course, being semi-pro, conditions are a little different. Tanisha Scott gets the Blinko bounce, and that's her first three-pointer. So Brianna Sally's services will be missed here. She had 23. Her season high women's blue chip. You don't see that often in basketball. Usually, well, in the games that you're used to. As we have a foul on Minnesota. And the foul's reset by accident, so we have to get that situated. Minnesota. You just hope Brianna Sally's 23 points would be enough. Missouri in the bonus here. I was going to say, though, you being a Humboldt graduate, went to many of their basketball games. Lachey Holt, one of the top stars. You knew if she was playing in the game, she was going to play for the full 40 or full 36 unless she was injured. And even at college. Well, again, the circumstances are a little bit different at those levels than here. You don't have other commitments. So Missouri has an interesting opportunity here to take advantage of a player who had to leave early. Jackson to Lawrence. Wants to cut the lead in half, will not. Wilson with the rebound. Wilson, touch pass to Alexander, nothing. And draws a couple hands in her face and punches through the hole anyway. She's up to 8. Well, Sally might be gone, but Minnesota still looking at the full court. And I'm surprised Alexander let that one go. I mean, it would have been Minnesota ball anyway. Dead ball rebound, but
that is what Minnesota did.
5 to shoot. Johnson's looking at the clock. Tries a step move, nothing. And the rebound by Victoria Jackson. That negates a shot clock violation. Jackson for 3. Rebound still up for grabs. It goes into the hands of Victoria Jackson, who finds her twin sister, Victoria Smith, I should say. Veronica Smith up to a baker's dozen to lead the Archangels. Alexander. Used up the dribble, finds Wilson for three. Banks it in! I guess the one thing with Sally having to leave, it gives Wilson a chance to take over the team lead with 5:15 left in regulation. Alexander with the steal, more pressure defense invading the space of the Archangels. Wilson this time fakes the three and ends up losing the ball. Another deflection, but it will stay with the Archangels. Contact, no foul. The basket for Lametria Jackson. She's up to 6. Johnson one-on-one. Goes back out to Scott. We're getting closer to the point, and Minnesota now going to evaporate more time on their possessions. Scott left alone. Nothing. Got to get it off. That bounces off the rim. And 2-on-1 for Missouri. Nikki Lawrence with the scoop. And a timeout by Minnesota. 4:07 left, 74-69. We talked about that blown two-pointer at the end of the third. And again, Sally not there to initiate the offense. Sally was brilliant throughout the game. How does Minnesota weather through this adverse situation? I forgot the drum line was performing, so we can't hear each other. I was going to say, how does Minnesota weather this adverse situation? No Sally available in the fourth, and now a 12-point lead trimmed to 5. You seem speechless. You're not quite sure how Minnesota will respond.
I'm definitely looking at Tempest Wilson here as she continues to go alongside Sally. I believe that if they continue to feel pressure, I think that they don't have to score as much. They don't need the extra offense from Sally because the other team is not putting up any points.
Wilson has been intermittent, 13 points in the second. Not much to speak of since. Reach and foul called, and that's a bailout call because Alexander caught in a double team, and because it's a double bonus, it's 2 free throws for the Iowa graduate. Kasheen Alexander, 11.5 points per game. Just 3 rebounds? That doesn't seem right. Splits there. But she fights her way for the O board and gets the 3-point play. Kasheen Alexander, the definition of athletic. And that's why she had an outstanding career for the Hawkeyes. Stutter step, baseline drive. Reverse layup goes in for Lametria Jackson. Alice Milan had her caught on her heels, and she throws up a blind shot. This is Jackson's first game. Misses the free throw. Alice Milan used up the dribble. You don't want her, or she doesn't prefer to be the ball handler moving up the floor. Alexander tries to go coast to coast and instead gets a block from Leanne Robinson. Minnesota up by 6, 77-71, 3:13 left in regulation. 1 point was mistakenly left off. Ooh, that was a dangerous pass. Alice Milan recovers though. Used up the dribble, had nowhere to go, and was poked away by Veronica Smith. Steps into a three. No good, Wilson rebound. Alexander. Eating up as much time as as they can allow, and I'm not quite sure you're in that position yet. It's only a 2-possession game as Alice Milan loses the ball, mishandling the pass. I don't think you want to kill clock just yet because Missouri could tie this up with a couple of threes. A cutting Robinson gets the layup. That's her first field goal, and now it's a 4-point margin. Now things get a little more dicey.
Now you get the issue, you have to execute points.
You don't want to get too conservative here. Alice Milan with the finger roll, and that's big as we go under 2 minutes. Alice Milan with 8. Pass is stolen by Scott. Minnesota could put down the metaphorical dagger here. That's going to be a charge on Tanisha Scott. So Missouri still in contention. Lawrence to Smith. That would have been a huge three-pointer. Alice Milan with the rebound, and she draws the foul, so she'll go to the line for 2. .90 seconds left. Minnesota trying to sweat their way home. Alice Milan splits. Missouri still not out of this yet. Minnesota just trying to scrap their way to the buzzer. And that three-pointer is short. Missouri getting a little trigger happy from behind the perimeter. We have a collision, and I believe the foul will be tabbed to Alexander. No, it's going the other way. A loose ball foul on Robinson. So that gives Alexander a chance to shoot more free throws. Alexander with 11 points. And fatigue may be starting to come in a little bit. The free throws have lost their form a little bit. But they're going in, and that's what counts. You spoke of her younger sisters who are playing collegiate ball at the MIAC level. Alexander won a state tournament title 8 years ago with Benilde St. Margaret's in Class 3A. 9-point margin. Lawrence on the runner. No good. Scott, Wilson. Fast break comes up empty, but Danielle Ellison cleans it up, and that should be enough to get Minnesota out of this with the win. Danielle Ellison. Great to see her get something, as Kasheen Alexander will be hit with a foul. Raina Boyd will shoot 2. We all held our breath during the third when Ellison had that massive collision with her high school comrade. And she was in pain. Tweaked muscle, perhaps. In any case, she's all right. And Minnesota will officially improve to the 500 mark in women's blue chip play. Boyd misses both free throws, but that's inconsequential here. Full court press coming from Missouri, and they're not able to break it. That's a 10-second violation. It doesn't make a difference, though. Missouri will fall to 0-5 in league play. Minnesota will go to 2-1. And Raina Boyd will shoot 2 more, and Minnesota can run out the clock after this. Raina Boyd got the offense activated early for the Archangels, hit a lot of perimeter shots, and then went virtually silent. Had a couple of threes and not much to speak of since. Makes both here. That makes it a 9-point game, but Missouri just won't have enough time. They're going to call a jump? Officials rule simultaneous possession or touch, and they're going to call a jump ball. You don't see that every day. So a jump ball at center court. Again, this is academic. And Minnesota, how about that third quarter? That blown layup doesn't come back to bite them. 32-15. Sally and Wilson hooked up for that blast, and that's going to be more than enough to get them the win here. So the blown layup at the end of the third and the departure from Sally ultimately have no effect. The Black Ice worked through a tough first quarter where they had to fight both a perimeter attack and the clock. And put in a resounding performance. Alexander will finish with 14. Well, Minnesota figures to end the way they began that second half, full court pressure. Why not go for one more steal? Minnesota will be playing a lot of road games from here on out. We hope to bring you at least one or two of those games for you. At least I will. The rest of us, unless we can get a 7-figure contract, might be staying put. The team, if I can get some subsidies, I might do it. But hopefully folks at home watching this will investigate the women's blue chip, examine it, as Lametria Jackson will become the 5th Missouri player to go to double digits, and take a look at this product. Final buzzer sounds 85-77, the final score. Tempest Wilson, Brianna Sally, your big players for the Black Ice. And Kasheen Alexander made some big plays in the fourth quarter.
Definitely does.
So we'll pause for a moment and try to get some interviews with both sides. The balanced scoring of Missouri and a more concentrated effort, but a winning effort for the Black Ice. 85-77 the final. This is Women's Blue Chip Basketball on TSB Television. Mike Beaton here with Kasheen Alexander and Tempest Wilson, and I guess Tempest, we'll go over to you first because you blew up in the second quarter, 13 points in a row, and that got Minnesota out of a funk. What got in your head?
I just say we just pushed the ball really well. We just got out in transition, just hit the open man. We were playing good defense, and we really like to get out and run, so that's just kind of what we did.
You really picked up in the aggression on defense in the second half. We saw a lot of full court press, a lot of hands and faces. That produced a lot of steals. What adjustments did you make, and what led to that switch defensively?
I mean, just us talking together, moving together, being active, being in a defensive stance, playing well defense together, and I think we just got back, in the 3-2 and kind of just really guarded and got out.
And what does it mean, I guess, to get a home victory back, well, your final home game, actually, as you take a lot of road games now. Thoughts on that?
It was great for us. I mean, getting a home win is always good. And, it was good. We had a good crowd and come out and just finish here at home and be well on the road.
Kasheen, you had a pretty big fourth quarter, including a three-point play in backwards fashion. You had to step up. Brianna Sally had to leave, and you took her place. So what turned on the metaphorical switch for you?
I think it's one of those things where it's like if a teammate goes down, you got to step up. We were down one with Brianna Sally going out, and Tanisha Gilbert kind of had a concussion, so we were down two. So you just have to kind of stand up and do what you need for your team.
Not to mention Ellison had a pretty scary injury from our vantage point. That I'm sure you held your breath at that point. So talking about that stepping up aspect.
I think that's an also thing, when she goes down, it can be a momentum swinger either way. But I think we took it as a kind of play for Danielle type of atmosphere, and we just took it from there.
Will you be taking any of these lessons with you to Fargo at North Dakota State in the fall?
Well, our game in North Dakota is fast paced, so we're going to keep trying to push the ball, and we got a rebound. We did good with that, and I think that's our game. In the third quarter, we really showed how we can get out in transition.
And the last time we spoke with you, you were still with Concordia, and now the Bison hired you. What led to that hiring, and how excited are you to be moving up to Division I?
Well, Myron Walsath actually coached at Penn State when I was at Iowa, so that's kind of how I have the connection there. And Lisa Bluter gave me a great recommendation there. So I think it was a great move for me and NDSU and trying to get that program back on track. I think it's a great move, and I'm excited for Bison women's basketball for the future.
I imagine getting that recommendation was really, really difficult.
I know, right? I mean, hey, Lisa Bluter, that's my girl.
And for the two of you, I guess now you've had a few games and kind of went through a roster adjustment as well, some players left, and now you're kind of more condensed. What's the focus now moving ahead as you get ready to showcase your stuff on the road?
Go ahead. I think knowing so much about our players that we have, and we're going to be playing in different spots that we normally didn't have, but that's the beauty of our players. We're ready to step up whenever we needed to. It's a great home win going into this road stretch, and I think we can keep building from this game.
And Tempest, I guess your thoughts on basically breaking out here. We didn't hear much from you, and a few Scots might be calling your way after this.
Hey, I gave her 4 assists, so hey, I'm just saying I had a lot to do with it. I'm playing.
No, I'm just doing what I can, as a player, as an individual, trying to be consistent here and just doing well for my team.
And anybody you want to say hi to that will be watching this victory?
Minnesota, stand up.
Hey, family.
It is Father's Day, so you...
Happy Father's Day to everybody.
Don't forget the shout out to Dad.
Right.
Well, congratulations. We might be following you on a road game or two, but if not, this was a wonderful performance. At least one Minnesota team came out victorious today. The Lynx came up short, so you gave us something to cheer about.
They'll be all right. The Lynx will be all right.
Well, they'd be better if you were on the team, right? No, thanks for speaking with us, and good luck as you take your talents to the road.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Christine Alexander and Tempest Wilson of the Minnesota Black Ice. I'm here with Nikki Lawrence of the Missouri Archangels. And Nikki, your perimeter game was really flourishing early on, and then Minnesota answered with a full court press that really seemed to stymie you. How would you summarize the flow of the game?
If we would have took our time, then we would have seen who was open, then we wouldn't have made the mistakes, and we had a better chance of winning the game.
How tough was that full court defense in the second half?
It wasn't really that tough, but I mean, it was tough enough that, you know, we couldn't get over the passes and the ball and stuff, so yeah.
I know you've played and you've had a hard time getting, I believe, your first win this season, at least our last count. So I guess how do you go through that situation and kind of keep yourself optimistic about the circumstances?
With the loss?
Yeah, with the loss and still looking for that first win by last count.
I mean, like I said, all we can do is keep trying. I mean, we're getting better and better as a team, so this next game will be a better game. Each game we improve.
And you had a pretty deep roster there too. What have you gotten out of playing for the Archangels and getting a chance to continue your basketball exploits?
We're a family. Every day we're getting closer and closer, so I mean, I love playing with them.
And what's the support and what's the kind of atmosphere like in your place? How have folks responded to the Archangels?
I mean, well, this is my second year, so I don't really know. But like I said, like, they come out to support us, and all we got to do is, you know, try to keep winning or try to win a game.
And how do you apply this game moving ahead with about half the season left?
Stay focused.
And finally, anyone you want to say hi to that might be watching this?
My family in Chicago, my mom, Latanya Lawrence, my niece, and my sister.
And I guess I lied somewhat, but from your perspective, what kind of opportunities does your team and the league itself offer to a lot of women who are interested in continuing basketball?
I mean, we had a couple players from overseas who wanted to come play with us, but at the time we had a full roster. But like I said, we got to keep trying. We got to try to win a game.
Well, thank you, Nikki Lawrence, and hopefully you'll be able to get that first win and maybe a few more for Missouri, but it was a resounding, entertaining performance from you guys and certainly made things very active around here.
Yeah, thank you.
Nikki Lawrence of the Missouri Archangels. That wraps it up from here. Minnesota winning 85-77. Thank you for watching Women's Blue Chip Basketball. We'll see you next time.